Oh my god, this chair already hurts my butt just sitting on it.
Do you want to trade chairs? Are you going to be complaining about it the whole time?
Yeah, but no.
Filmed it before?
My name is Blake.
I'm gonna do that one again too, okay?
Is this how we're starting the intro?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? So, a long time ago, we said that we would do a Q&A video. We filmed that video and it was way too long. So, this is us.
Somebody didn't condense the questions down.
I know. We answered all the questions and it became like this 1.5 to 2 hour long video. Couldn't edit it. It was like too big. We're filming that again right here. The deal with this question and answer video is that we condensed all the questions down. So all of the questions in this video are kind of like a random sample / answering the most asked questions. If we did not answer your question, head on over to our Facebook page. The link is in the description bar below. Like the page and ask it there. Either send us a message or just write on the page's wall and we can answer it right there. Because I know that we didn't answer every single one of the questions, and if you really wanted your question answered, you can do it there. Let's jump right in.
Yes.
Look happier.
I am absolutely happy.
Okay.
Right now. I'm ecstatic.
So my name is Katie. I am 22 years old. My birthday is October 18th.
My name is Blake. I'm 21 years old. My birthday is in August, the 12th.
August 12th.
Mm-hmm.
What's your occupation?
I am an avionics technician.
He fixes the brains on the planes, basically. Yep. Can you give your AFSC, or is that something you don't really want people knowing?
2A3X5.
I am a junior researcher for an online startup company. Junior researcher is technically my title, but I don't do just research. A closed social platform that connects advertisers and ad agencies together. I do administrative work and I do research work, lots of little jobs that they ask me to do. I'm a contractor, I'm a freelancer. So that's what I do, and that's why a lot of you guys ask if I work. I do work and I work from home. My job is literally just like typing away at a computer. What is your position on school?
School's good. Stay in school, don't do drugs.
He's not in school right now. He's not doing classes right now. Maybe soon. I am currently enrolled at Western Governors University, WGU, which is an online accredited nonprofit university where I'm getting my bachelor's in business management, and I'm almost done. I just passed another class like yesterday. So I'm almost there. I only have like 3 or 4 classes left, so that's awesome. A lot of people ended up asking about his deployment, where you were, what you were doing, what your days consisted of. Why don't you just give us like an overall little tidbit about about your deployment? That was Noel.
I went to Afghanistan. Daily routine, same thing every day. I would get up, shave, brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, work, go home. I usually talk to Katie for a while, either Skype or Google Hangouts. Every once in a while, go to the gym. Go to sleep for however long I could, and then do the same exact thing every day.
A lot of people asked if like our connection was good, how often we could talk and stuff like that, and our internet connection was actually pretty decent. We would text using Google Hangouts like throughout the day pretty much. Not constantly, but like, you know, sporadically. I don't think we Skyped every single night, but we Skyped a good amount. Like it was pretty decent, which is good. What kind of advice do you have for people who are going to deploy? What's your advice?
There's only so much advice I can give because each deployment is different. It all depends on where you go. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on who you're with. Who you're with pretty much dictates how your deployment's going to be. And of course, your attitude towards it. Deployments suck. There's no sugarcoating it. They suck. But it's up to you pretty much on how much they suck. Looking back on it in the long run, it didn't suck that bad. It just sucked in the way that like being away from home and being away from Katie and not having the freedoms to go down to the store to buy food and cook. It's like summer camp, but it's not fun. I guess, and you're just working constantly. That is a deployment. That's your whole job, is you train at home station to deploy and do your job right and do it well. Don't overpack. Bring what you need. And
people back home can send you stuff too.
Yeah.
Care packages are definitely a thing that you can do. Obviously, depending on where you're going, like obviously there's going to be...
This all pertains to my deployment.
Right.
I can't tell you what your deployment's going to be like or where you're going and how that's going to work because I don't know.
It's all so different that we can't really talk about all deployments because they're all so different. As an example, I could send him care packages. He got care packages all the time.
If you do send a care package out, be mindful on how much like sugary stuff you're sending out because it gets old really quick. There was so much candy and like treats and stuff, and like at first you're like, oh man, this is awesome, and then the next week you're like, I'm gonna die. Unless they specifically ask for certain things and like healthy things like protein bars and stuff, and
maybe like beef jerky.
Yeah,
like
beef jerky.
Not overly sugary things.
Yeah,
more
just
savory things.
Yeah, things that you can like snack on throughout the day that aren't full
almonds,
of sugar.
nuts. Everybody asked how we deal with the distance, how we went through it and everything like that. There's a lot of things that go into this. A lot of it is dependent on, you know, where they're deploying, but also depends on your relationship dynamic. Was it really as hard as they say it is? I didn't personally think it was that bad. He had it way worse than I did. He had to work all day doing the same thing over and over and over, and I had like a varied schedule. I would hang out with friends and I'd work on school stuff and I'd do a lot of work, and I was back home with my family. That was something that I'm really glad that I ended up doing. But again, like everybody's deployments are totally different. As for how we deal with the distance, that's kind of like the biggest thing, is just to stay busy. Like keep yourself busy, do schoolwork, find a hobby, hang out with friends, make new friends, take a cooking class or something. Like just stay busy. Stay as busy as you can, and that makes the time go by so much more quickly. Like
bring things to make you or keep yourself busy. That's like the most universal advice that you can give for a deployment.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're sitting there watching the clock go down and watching the calendar days tick by, it's going to go so much more slowly. Keep busy, and that's probably the easiest way that we dealt with this distance. A lot of people asked if there was an adjustment, like if we went through like an adjustment period being back together again. That's another thing that goes into, you know, it's totally dependent on the type of deployment they go on. It's totally dependent on the length of it. I think a lot of it also depends on if you have kids. Right, well, contact, and if you have like kids and stuff, because I know that you have this whole routine with the kids like while they're away, and when they come back, you have to find that balance of the routine where where the deployed person fits in again. And so that's a little bit tougher, but since we don't have kids and we don't have like a strict routine that we stick to that I had to find while he was away, that didn't really pertain to us. So there wasn't really a huge adjustment period. It wasn't really awkward, and kind of fell back into place really quickly.
Yeah, it just felt good to be back in the US of A.
US of A. Everybody asked what your plans are when it comes to, do you want to re-enlist? Do you want to cross-train? If you could cross-train, what would you cross-train into? What do you want to do when your term is up? How long are you in your contract right now? You're about halfway, right?
Yeah, in November, it'll be halfway.
So November is 3 years on his 6-year contract.
At this point, I kind of don't want to re-enlist. I don't know. I feel like I could just do bigger and better things on the outside and get paid better. But it's not that I don't like the Air Force. When I was in tech school, we asked our instructor what he thought about the Air Force and if he liked it. And he said he liked it, but there's some things about the Air Force that he wasn't a big fan of, and he just thinks that the Air Force has a huge amount of potential to be 300 times better than it is. And I've recently come to that conclusion as well. I don't think the Air Force is bad. Air Force is probably the best decision of my life. Mandatory to say that marrying you was also the best decision of my life. But it allowed me to do everything that I am now and have everything that I do now. Yeah. Pretty much. This is way off topic. Re-enlist probably depends on my school situation, really. Without the Air Force, I would most likely still be at home, like working some job that's not this, I guess, and not have the freedom to do this. Like, we're living on our own in Vegas, pretty much.
And we can afford to do that now.
At 21 and 22
right, and we
years
wouldn't
old.
have ever been able to do that especially if we were up in the Seattle area. Like, we come from a very, very expensive part of the country to live in, and it would have just not even been conceivable to like live on our own, have everything that we have now, have Noelle. Like, Noelle wouldn't even be here if it weren't for you being in the Air Force.
Don't let that discourage you from joining the Air Force if you're thinking about it. Absolutely join the Air Force if
that's what you want to do.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do. Cross train, yeah. There's almost not even a point in me trying, I feel like.
Okay, so if you could, instead of cross training, if the question was if you could go back and join the Air Force with any job, what job would you choose?
I don't even know. That's the problem. Like, I like this job. I think it's awesome working on these things.
So you would say that you would join the same job?
Maintenance is one of those jobs that you think is really awesome when you first join, and then once you get partway through it, you're like, damn. This was a bad idea. And it's really not a bad idea. Maintenance will always transfer over to the civilian sector compared to many other jobs. I think an intel job would be pretty cool. I don't know. I'd have to spend a day or so in the life of whatever job I was looking at.
He's a very logical person who's like, I don't know what I would cross-train into because I want to know all about that job first.
Well, yeah, because then you cross-train and be like, man, this sucks. I want my other job.
Well, yeah, but this is literally
go
like
back.
hypotheticals. Like, it's...
You can't just call and be like, hey, can I have my job back?
So another question that we get asked all the time, everybody wants to know all about babies. Like, do you guys want to have kids? When do you want to have kids? What's the deal with the kids? Why don't you have kids?
Pretty sure they ask more about kids than our parents do. I don't think our parents have ever asked about kids.
I don't think there's anybody that's married yet. I think we're the only ones that we know of that graduated in our class that are married.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is pretty unusual, especially like in more traditional religious, like southern parts of the country. I feel like a lot of people, once they turn 18 and graduate high school, a lot of them go off to get married and have kids immediately, which is cool, like if that's something that you want to do. But for us, where we grew up, that is super rare. Like that doesn't happen. We were highly unusual because we got married at 19 and 20. So yeah, our parents haven't been like pushing the whole babies thing yet. Babies, we want to have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to think about this in a linear way, like I don't want to have kids before I'm 30 sort of way. But the older I get and the more I inch toward that age, the more I'm kind of thinking, you know, I don't really want to put an age on it. Instead of like having an age where I want to have kids, I have like a list of things I want to do before I have kids. I want to travel a lot more. I want to see the world before I have kids. I want to have my bachelor's degree, if not my master's degree, before I have kids. Ideally, I do not want to have kids while you're in the Air Force. If you do decide to re-enlist, that would obviously change. But if you were planning on getting out, then I want to wait until after you're out to have kids, because I don't really want to raise kids in a military lifestyle. That's not really the lifestyle that I imagined for our kids. I definitely want to have kids soon-ish, I guess. Like this is all stuff that I want to do before I'm 30, I think. How do you feel about kids? That was all me talking.
I definitely have not thought about it anywhere near as much as you have.
Yeah, I know.
And I just never do. I don't know. I feel like I'm more in the kind of present near future than thinking way down the line in terms of kids and stuff. But I mean, I do agree. I think 30 is about the age of about kid time.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, if not a little bit before.
If I had to put an age on it, I would love to like start thinking more seriously about kids between like 25 and 28. Like that's like the perfect gap, I think, for me personally. But obviously, it's so dependent on everything. Like that's a huge lifestyle change forever. Like that is something that will change everything forever.
I don't want to plan a baby to that extent.
I don't know.
But at the same time, I don't want it to be like an accident.
No.
I just don't want to be like, okay, we're gonna have a baby here. It's gonna be born this month on this day.
I don't plan it like that.
No, I know.
Part of this really changed for me from the last Q&A that we did, because in that Q&A, I said that I didn't even want to think about kids for 5 years. Like, that's just something I didn't even want to think about. It's not even on my radar. But then my dad got sick, and that, like, totally changed everything, because it was like, okay, I didn't realize how important it was to me, but I want my parents to know my kids. I want my kids to know their grandparents from my side of the family. That's different for you because your parents had you young. Like your mom was 26 and your dad was what, 28 then?
27?
That is considered young by my family because my mom had me when she was 38, my brother at 41. My parents are significantly older than his parents, and my dad like is going through chemo right now. He's good. For all those that have asked about that, he's doing so much better now. He has no hair.
He has no hair now?
Yeah, he said it's shorter than yours now. And I'm like, oh. He had a ponytail like growing up. So it's so weird for me. I've never seen him with short hair ever. All of a sudden, my parents' mortality became super real to me. And it was like, wow, these people aren't going to be around forever. I want my family to know my kids. So, and that's why I don't really think about it in a linear way anymore. I just think about things that I want to do before I have kids. But I don't want to be like, I don't want to think about kids until X date. It's not as set in stone as it was before, I think. Okay, we had to take a break and push the re-record button because we're talking a lot again like we did in the other Q&A. Yeah. So the last question was kind of like, what is our life plan? What do we want to have done in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What do you want your life to look like?
2 years, hopefully getting somewhere in my school. 5 years...
That's where it's all up in the air because it really depends. For me, in 2 years, let's see, I'm turning 23. I'll be 25 in 2 years. which
You're
is
old.
a little bit mind-blowing. I'm not really sure so much because I'm still gonna be following you around because your career kind of comes first with the Air Force. I'll have my bachelor's by then. I don't know if I'll have my master's by then. And I don't know, I think I want to take a break from school. After I get my bachelor's, I think I want to take a break because part of the whole school issue with me was that I started it because I felt like I had to. I felt like I was kind of pressured to do it. And so unfortunately, I got like almost like halfway through my schooling until I realized, oh, I'm kind of interested in this. Like maybe I should have paid attention more those first 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think I want to take a break from school after I get my bachelor's just to kind of know, you know, figure myself out a little bit. Within 2 years, I want to travel more. That's like a common thing throughout 2, 5, 10 years. Like I want to travel a lot more. I'm going to Europe this summer. After Europe, I need to go somewhere with you. We need to go somewhere. That was Twitter, sorry. So we need to go somewhere. I think we'll probably go to like Ireland or the UK or something.
That'd be awesome.
Or Germany. He wants you to go. You want to go to Germany really bad. Something like that. I also want to travel to Southeast Asia. I really want to explore like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. I really want to go there. I want to eventually go to like pieces of Africa. I think would be really, really cool. He's not as much the traveler as I am, though.
I'm really not. Like,
No.
I mean, there's a few places that I definitely like would love to go. And then there's some places I just have no
desire.
I have no reason to go there. It's cool to see it, but it's expensive, takes up a lot of time and a lot of planning. It's just not safe sometimes.
He's the more logical person out of the pair of us. Obviously, I'm kind of more of the dreamer. And so I literally want to go everywhere. I don't really care how much it costs. Obviously, I care about safety. I want to be safe while I'm traveling, but I don't like... I think a lot of the whole safety issues are totally sensationalized.
Depends on where you are, obviously. Sensational.
That's not a word.
Over sensationalized.
Okay.
Overhyped.
Overhyped. You hear about all the bad things in the world. You hear about everything that's going wrong in certain places.
All you hear is the bad things. You don't hear like, oh, this person made it here safely and did all this safely.
Right.
And returned. You don't hear that, obviously.
No, you only hear about the bad. So it's kind of it's very easy to become jaded in that sense. Like you don't really know what the country's like. I want to go everywhere. And he doesn't so much. And that's okay. I would like to get a master's degree. I'm not sure in what field yet. And I want to think about kids probably within like 5 years.
Every day.
I think about kids all the time.
There.
I know.
There's lots of hobby things that I like to do. And like recently I've gotten into like fountain pens and stuff. I've always wanted one because I've never written with one before and they're awesome. It makes writing...
Yeah,
like,
now he's like in love with them.
It's fun. Like I have a stack of papers next to my computer when I'm playing games. Like when something's loading or whatever. I'll literally start writing just because it's fun.
So is that saying, are you going in the 2, 5, 10 years? Are you want to develop more hobbies?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's just like lots of hobby things that I like to do. Like I love to play video games, obviously. I love computers. I love building them. I love just working on them. Just saying, fountain pen is still fun. Recently, I've kind of picked up the hobby of shooting. Yeah. I guess, and I definitely want to own more firearms in the future. I know you're not super happy about that.
No, I don't really like it. But...
Yeah, and then hopefully have something like a job or something on the outside. That's my main worry about getting out is having a job. And that's why I want to do school too.
I want to be an expat. Like, I want to live in a different country. And that's kind of dreaming a little bit, but like, I really, really want to be an expat. I mean, like, within like 5 or 10 years, like, I think it would be so cool to experience not just visiting another country, but actually like living in another country. It does depend on our job situation and what everything is like. That's the big thing. That's like, we don't know what our life is going to be like.
Especially in the Air Force, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to go here this weekend. I'll see you later. Can't.
No. You
can't do that. I'm pretty sure everybody in the place that I work watches our channel. Yeah. Because there was this one girl who walked in. I have never seen her before. She's like, what's up, YouTube star? And then walked out. I was like,
what's up, guys?
Yeah, hi. So yeah, I was just reminded of that. That's why
I still haven't had anybody come up to me in person and be like, hey, YouTube.
You don't have any friends.
Hey, shut up. I did have somebody once in Paulsbo. I told you about this. Somebody once in Paulsbo didn't come up to me and talk to me, but she tweeted me and she was like, were you just in Safeway?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah! So if you do happen to see us like around, like out and about, feel free to come up and say like hi, because that's like my dream. Like, I want to be friends with people who watch our videos like so bad. So that would be so cool. I think we answered basically all of the
In
questions.
another hour.
Yeah, but this one at least was a little bit more directed. So how this is basically working, if we didn't answer your question or we didn't answer it fully enough, head on over to our Facebook page. That link is listed in the description bar below. So go check out our Facebook page, like the page, and you can totally feel free to either message us your questions or post on our wall and we'll answer the questions there. Because I know that there's questions that we probably didn't answer. We can do that a lot more easily on our Facebook page. We could do that more easily than we can on Twitter and on Instagram and all that stuff. So Facebook's definitely the way to go. So we're gonna get going, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because our normal vlogs are uploaded
On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific
Yes.
time. I hope you guys enjoyed and we will see you next time. Bye!
Bye.